What very realistic event could happen to make 2020 even worse? A Great Depression. This season of Earth is entirely too unrealistic. What have the writers been thinking? They're trying to spice up the storyline since the global warming plot point isn't attracting enough viewers. Asterisk cats 2 asterisk. Too far man. Too far. Let's not give 2020 any more bright ideas please. Edit. Thanks for the awards, but I'm down to one good arm thanks to 2020. Let's stop trying to see how it can get worse. It's only the third month and it already feels like a decade has passed. A war almost started. A president went through an impeachment. A continent spontaneously combusted and wreaked havoc on wildlife only to be saved by floods. And a deadly virus took the world by storm, monsieur, all in 3 months. You're right. Sounds like the recap of an unfortunate decade. Edit. Also Kobe. Someone deciding now is a good time to go to war when defenses are down? Edit. And my inbox got defeated. This is border violation. Looks at us in Iran. Any disasters during this pandemic? Imagine if this is still spreading rapidly in April with mass quarantines. And a tornado outbreak on the likes of 2011 super outbreak hits. Injured normally have medical to go to, but if it's all filled up by sick patients, well, let's just hope it doesn't come to that. Everyone in the States, count yourselves lucky that this outbreak didn't hit in July to September and hope it gets cleared before then. Imagine if this was widespread during a Category 5 hurricane impact, when they normally tell an entire region to scram to other parts of the country. Edit. I'm well aware of comments regarding corona still a threat in June to September. You aren't unique. Please stop leaving those comments and instead reply to those that already have done so. Thank you. Earthquakes happen year-round. It would be catastrophic. Hurricane season is coming up. I thought hurricane season was over. We've had one, yes. But what about second hurricane season? I don't think they know about second hurricane, Pip. Internet shutdown. I feel like spanking you just for suggesting it. The PAC NW experiences a 9.0 Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. I finally got approved to work from home, it better not. State-sponsored hackers attacking the medical industry. Yep, that would turn this shit up to 11. If Yellowstone erupted, you might as well grab a good bottle of your choice and kick back. Can we at least get through half of 2020 before trying to outdo it? No, we're speed running the end of the world this year. If an enormous solar flare from the sun strikes Earth, it could take out our electrical grid, internet, and almost all electronic devices. A solar flare struck in 1859 that would have caused $10 trillion worth of damages today. Imagine getting reset to the 1840s. Also crazy that practically no one knows about the imminent risk of a coronal mass event. Giant forest fires evacuating large parts of California during the escalating coronavirus outbreak. Pretty ironic that last October I was told that I had to leave my house and now being told to stay home. Now what happens if the coronavirus carries on until wildfire seasons? Alright, this thread is worsening my anxiety. Same, but I can't look away. Why must my thumb betray me? Another hurricane. While everyone's in quarantine, an infectious disease hurricane would not be fun. Natural. Yellowstone erupts. Man-made. Some moron decides a war is a good way to kickstart the economy after the corona disaster. Yellowstone is due to blow. But in geological time, it's sometime in the next 100,000 years or so. 2020 is within the next 100,000 years. I found a snake under a blanket in the bedroom. It's already happening, people. Could be worse, could have been in your boot. Hello. How does this happen? Do you folks with specific names have alerts set up for certain phrases being typed asterisk into Reddit or something? Is that even possible? No, we just read and chime in whenever we see our names mentioned. Even the lurkers are coming out. It truly is the end of times. Unexpected solar flare completely shuts down all electronics and internet for a long period. Would be horrible for the quarantine. In there. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. If all the electronics and the internet shut down, think about what you currently have in your possession to offer as trade. Assuming that roving gangs don't just forcibly take it from you first. The big one finally happens in California that we've been warned about our entire lives. Dogs with bees in their mouth, and when they bark they shoot bees at you. Random chimp event. That's my band name. Well, my mom died yesterday. So there's that. Edit. Definitely did not expect to wake up to all of this. Thank you all for your support. You have no idea how much that means to me. I'm sorry for your loss. Economy collapsing beyond repair everywhere. California just got put on lockdown, and if it was its own country it would be the 5th largest economy in the world. This isn't going to just bounce back. I mean, it won't likely bounce back. We will likely have a recession. But this very likely isn't the end of the modern economy, which some people seem to be implying. Edit. Made my words less absolute sounding. As no one can truly predict the market right now. Another natural disaster, an insect plague, another war, another disease, etc. At this point it's amazing that we're still here and not in a grave somewhere given the circumstances of the year so far. Isn't an insect plague already happening in Africa right now? You right. I give up. I swear every continent and every country is experiencing some biblical plague right now. Since you refuse to free my people, all through the land of Egypt, I send a pestilence and plague, into your house, into your bed. The coronavirus could mutate to become deadlier, or we could just realize it is deadlier or has long-term effects we didn't know about. Or a rush vaccine produces rage zombies and we are actually in the precursor to every zombie apocalypse movie ever made. Or they could make an untested vaccine that actually kills 90% of people. Grocery stores are forced to close due to employees being infected by the coronavirus. There's always someone who would be willing to take the job, especially with the amount of unemployment coming. China finally pulls the trigger on Taiwan or Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a possibility. Taiwan isn't considering ... The United States have warships there. Edit. Fixed it for the smartasses. Edit 2. Apparently we don't have warships stationed there. But they do pass by often. A much overdue seismic big one hitting my state of California. The last catastrophic quake, as told by several tribes lore, was in the 1700s and created Humboldt Bay. That would suck with everyone being in quarantine right now. A coronal mass ejection. There was a huge one in 1859 called the Carrington event. It destroyed telegraph lines. You're probably thinking, oh, those are rare, that'll never happen again. In 2012 a similar-sized flare missed the Earth by 9 days. If one did occur, we'd only have 17 hours from release to try and minimize damage. And less time if there was a previous smaller CME before a big one which pushed most of the solar wind out of the way. There are more than 3,000 satellites in orbit at the minute. We would lose almost every single one. And the ones that don't decay in their orbits and burn up in the atmosphere might crash into each other, creating a ring of space junk around the Earth, trapping us in for the foreseeable future. You don't want to know how bad it could be on Earth. Why are all bad things starting with Corona? Will someone finally unite humanity in the ultimate quest to take out the sun? Trapping us on Earth? Buddy, we're already trapped here. Trapped without telecommunications. Greater than there are more than 3,000 satellites in orbit at the minute. We would lose almost every single one. And the ones that don't decay in their orbits and burn up in the atmosphere might crash into each other, creating a ring of space junk around the Earth, trapping us in for the foreseeable future. Common misconception. The space debris field will make it difficult, impossible to put new satellites in orbit. But it's not going to trap us in. It will still be totally doable to navigate escape orbits. NASA is lying and that asteroid is really gonna hit Earth. But again, maybe that wouldn't be so bad after all. OM8 I heard about that. April 29th 0. There's an asteroid. Nickelback release a double album. PS thanks bro. This virus doesn't just clear up on its own. The vaccine takes longer than estimated to develop, but it's not a cure for those that already have it anyway, and then the virus mutates. International borders are closed. The military begins patrolling to make sure people are not sneaking in. Whole towns and cities are now closing to outsiders. People begin to stop trusting their neighbors or people they don't know. Governments stop behaving democratically and urge the population to report their own family, friends and neighbors to the authorities if they look sick. Nobody has a job. Money doesn't matter because it has no use. Violence is a feature of life. The government has gone to ground and then reports that the military has started shooting. Civilians at the borders begin to circulate. Extinction of the bees. North Korea successfully launching a nuclear warhead that lands either in South Korea or Japan, then sparking an international incident. Or Russia invading the Baltic states. Well, if NK nukes someone, they are on their own. China has voted against them in the UN in the past. And if China does anything to show support with MK, they would effectively be isolating themselves. Coronavirus mutates and has a 20% mortality rate. Obviously, it's not a good thing. But if it mutates, not all of the coronavirus strains worldwide would have the same mutation. It's not like Plague Inc. It would only be centered around a few cases that have the mutation, which would likely be unable to spread since so many countries are already under lockdown. That the 2020 election ends up being like the 2016 one, between two candidates no one really wanted, but are stuck with. We're already there. I'm really getting sick of this all parties are equally bad trash. The US elected a reality TV star who was twice accused of being a pedophile his president. An accused pedophile with zero political experience. He has ambitiously pursued all forms of deregulation, given jobs to friends and family, assassinated people in other nations, caused an impeachment trial, screwed up a national response to a pandemic, and ripped the social fabric of the nation apart by committing multiple felonies. Never mind the racism, sexism, and pedophilia. His signs of dementia and narcissism alone should render him unfit. Presumably a boiled egg with an American flag and eagle tattooed onto it would be a better leader of the free world at this point. Power outages, food shortages would start to be huge. As I'm with a ton of anxiety during this time. I shouldn't have read this thread. It was knee snowing y'all. The Cascadia subduction zone shifts and a major earthquake wipes out a large chunk of the Pacific Northwest. An alien invasion. I'd almost welcome it at this point. If they're friendly enough, they could be our only friend in isolation. War. War is always worse. Nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan. Okay, who let Gandhi research the Manhattan Project? Definitely a hot war. A pandemic might create enough stress to cause the Middle East to erupt. The secondary effects on society if the COVID-19 continues to increase exponentially. A lot of the strands of the fabric of society that we take for granted could start unraveling. We are in a very precarious situation. Trump's re-election. I think he's going to win again. I can just see it. The incumbent almost always gets re-elected, and I don't see the Democrats flipping some of the key states that voted for him in the first place. Terrorists decide to bomb important medical labs as well as the CDC and WHO. Is that what happens when you pop the cure bubbles in plague? Yes. Eight-legged freaks. General Kenobi. Either IBM's Watson or Google's quantum computer becomes self-aware. Humanity fails the vibe check. Daily reminder that Ultron had access to the entire internet for only 5 minutes before deciding humanity needed to go. An attack on the power grid that disables it for several weeks. It would make the panic over the coronavirus look like a cakewalk by comparison. WW3 starts. already started. WW3 is against the virus. I was always sure WW3 will take place during my lifetime. I also assumed it will be very different from the first two. Didn't imagine this though. I think Einstein said he wasn't sure what weapons will be used in WW3. But WW4 would be fought with sticks and stones. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.